Evening, everybody. I'm Robert Wood, lead blacksmith at Serendipity Forge, and this is Deacon. Deacon thinks he's the real boss around here, but he's not. The real boss is my wife. He's a good dog. Heart of a lion, body of the mouse. Still smart enough to stand 30 feet away from anything he's going to bark at because his legs are so short. There you go, buddy. Thought I'd make a short video tonight and talk about one of the questions that's common to new blacksmiths and, well, some older blacksmiths too, because it's one that I still struggle with once in a while. And that's how to price your work. That is a very common question, a very common problem. And, well, I'll muddle through it and try to answer it the best I can, at least in my opinion. Like everything I say, everything that I do, nothing I do at the forge is the only way to do it. Nothing I say in a video is the gospel. It's just the way I do it. So, how are we meeting? How are we going to answer this question? Well, we can talk about this. It's 13 inches long. I forged the profile. I'm going to grind the bevels. It's going to be pretty close to a historical representation of something you might have found in the 18th century as a hanger sword that had been broken down and reground. I've got a wrought iron cross guard, clamshell cross guard. I'll be putting elk antler handles on it. Not sure if I want to go with wrought iron pommel cap or I want to cast in pewter. Either one would be historically correct, so that'd be okay. But it's too complicated. We could go with, we could talk about 4-inch camp knife. Still too complicated. Well, the knife I forged yesterday, on yesterday's video, came out rather nice, I think. I left the forge scale on, just left it really rough. Still too complicated. I'll tell you what, we'll go back to the beginning again. Remember in the first video, we went back to the very beginning in the first project that I ever made, and I dug a hole in the ground, I filled it with charcoal, I shoved a pipe in it, I stole my wife's hairdryer, and I built a fire, and I had a forge, and I nailed some scrap iron to a stump, and I had my makeshift anvil. And in the beginning, I had a carpenter's claw hammer I used. Well, and I made something and sold it. And in that first video, I made a hook. Well, this is simple enough. This is the hook I made in the second video. Just a regular old hook, spade finial, rat tail end. Good little project. Great thing. Hanging on the wall. I don't care how big your coat is, you're not going to bend that hook. Hang it in your garage. You can hang your biggest pipe wrench on this. It'll be fine. And it looks good. And you know what? They sell good. But this was the first project that I made, and also the first type of project that I sold, and they still sell today. So this is what we'll talk about. It's the simplest thing, easiest thing to talk about, get the point across. When I first started making these things, I think the first one or two I made, I used 5/16 stock, which I still use, and I hammered it out, and I bent it around, and I drilled my hole, and I made it nice, and I said, hey, I can sell this, and if I get $1 out of it, I've made my money back, because I've got less than $1 in the steel. Yeah, I was wrong. I wasn't making my money back at $1. $2? I'll go to $2. I'll sell it for $2. Nope. Still not making any money. Anytime you're making something and selling something, you've got more than just material costs to think about. And I know there are some of y'all out there that are fixing to shut this video off because you think, he's not telling us any secrets. Well, I may not be telling you a secret, but I'm telling you things that most people don't think about. I know I didn't, or maybe I'm the only idiot out there. But anyway, So at $1, yes, you're making back your material cost. But your material costs, that's not all you got. You've also got your fuel. I don't care if you're using propane, if you're using a coal forge, if you're using burning coke, if you're burning charcoal that you made yourself. There's a cost in that fuel. I've seen guys post on forums, I got pallet wood, I got a load of pallet wood and I burned it down and I made my own charcoal. And did you cut that pallet wood up? Did you use electricity for the saw you cut that with? Did you use a chainsaw that burns gas? You got fuel costs, my friend. What about electricity? Sure, you can have a hand crank forge. And wear yourself out. Not that there's anything wrong with a hand crank forge. Hey, it's great. If that's your cup of tea, go for it. Did you drill a hole? Did you use electricity for the drill? How about the bit? Was that drill bit free? Bore enough holes, you're going to pay for it. Did you forge out in your yard like I did to start with? Do you still do that? Or do you have a forge building that you have to do maintenance on, that once in a while you might have to fix the roof, you may have to fix a wall? Do you have to pay property tax on it? Do you have to pay rent for a place to work? All expenses you have to take into account. What about your tools? You know, you can have a great old anvil. You can have a great chunk of steel. You can have a great hammer. But you know what? If you're like me and most people that do this, eventually you're going to want to upgrade. You're going to want something a little better. How about for tomorrow? You may want that nice rounding hammer out of the catalog, or you may want that nice petting house anvil. You may want this better, this blacksmith's guillotine tool. You may want this flatter or this swage or these new punches. You may want these things. And at $1 or $2 a piece, you're not going to get them. So, my theory is I base my shop rate at $60 an hour. I can make 15 of these an hour. I can make one in 5 minutes, and I'm just rounding about 15 an hour because I drill the hole. I don't punch the hole. I don't find punching a hole to be efficient in stock this thin. It's easier to just go to the drill press and be done. So, 15 an hour. If I make 15 of these at $2 a piece, that's $30 I've made in that hour. And somebody says, well, $30 an hour is good money. Yeah, well, not after you figure your expenses. So, for me, just for me, I have to get $4 a piece out of a hook. At $4 a piece, I'm making $60 an hour when I'm doing these in a run. And at $60 an hour, after I pay my expenses, after I figure my taxes, after I figure shipping, after I figure all the other expenses out, then I come to where I'm actually paying myself a wage. Folks, I don't care if you're a hobbyist. I don't care if you do this for a living. I don't care if you've got income sources somewhere else. Unless you're just going to work and donate your work, which is fine if that's what you want to do. Be my guest. More power to you. You need to price your work not so high that it won't sell, but high enough that you pay yourself a wage. Now, there are guys out there that make this same style hook or similar, and they may get 10 or 12 bucks a piece for this hook. And I'm not knocking them for doing that. As a matter of fact, I'm happy for them. If they can get 10 or 12 bucks a piece for a hook like this, then God bless them, let them go ahead. If they're happy to make it for that price and their customers happy to buy it for that price, then I'm telling you, it's not a ripoff. If somebody's willing to give you 10 or 12 bucks, you ought to take it. But you need to set your own price. What are you comfortable with at the end of the day? What is your break-even area at the end of the day? Do you have to make 60 bucks an hour for shop rate so that you can pay yourself a little money, so that you can pay your taxes, pay for your fan, pay for your fuel, pay for your hammer, pay for all your consumables, pay for these things? Do you have to be able to pay to make 60 bucks an hour, or can you do a 45? Maybe you need 100 bucks an hour. Maybe you need 120. The point I'm making is when you're setting your price, no matter what it may be, make sure you pay yourself. Make sure you take all your expenses into account. Make sure you're not undercutting yourself and cutting your own throat. That's the number one thing. Well, seemed like I've sat here and got a little preachy. Maybe I have. I tend to rattle on about things I feel strongly about. And I hate to see people getting cheated. I hate to see them cheat themselves. And so if I got a little preachy, well, I don't apologize for it. It's just me and who I am. If you like this video, if you like the content we've been putting out, by all means, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We'd greatly appreciate that. We're striving for that, for 100 subscribers right now. We're at 96. When we get to 100, I'm gonna give this hook to somebody. It's gonna be a giveaway. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Tell us what you'd like to see in future videos, and we'll see what we can work out. Until then, I hope you enjoyed it. God bless you, and good evening.